everybody, welcome to this week's Football Focus. It's another break from domestic football this weekend and the final round of World Cup qualifiers as well. But as usual, we should be ploughing on, and this week we have a focus debut as well for the former Manchester United winger Keith Gillespie. Lovely to have you on the programme, Keith. Thanks for coming on. Here is what's coming up for you on the show. Pablo Zabaleta is a crowd favourite at Manchester City, but he tells Focus he's eyeing glory on more than one front this season. Bob Bradley is the American in charge of Egypt. The country's in political turmoil, but the football team is just 2 games away from sealing a spot at next summer's World Cup. And if you want homegrown players, look no further than Desportivo Brasil, the club that's touted as the breeding ground for stars of the future. English FA chairman Greg Dyke is pushing for the better development of English talent, so it's probably best, Greg, if you're watching, to look away now for the next few minutes at least. Brazilian club Desportivo Brasil may not be well known around the world, but it's a place where top clubs are sending their scouts to find the next Neymar. Steve Wilson has been to Sao Paulo to find out why.
So the World Cup is coming to Brazil and everybody's getting very excited about it. But this is where the next generation of Brazilian footballers are being nurtured. This is where they come from all over the country to prepare for a life as world superstars. This is Desportivo Brasil.
Desportivo is owned by a group called Traffic, which is the major sporting marketing company in Latin America. Traffic has one owner called Avila. He decided to open a youth football club and then to build a youth football academy in a way that you don't usually see in Brazil.
And how do you find the boys when they are 9, 10, 11? Where do you find them?
Everywhere. We cannot trace a plan or trace a line. Of course, we have a major plan that we have to see everything. We have to have contact with everything. We can only host a boy here at the age of 14. So in this 2-3 year period, we have to show them that the best project is our project. We have to have contact with football schools at the age of 10, 11. They have to like us. We have to give back to the school, so they will give us the first option, something like that.
These kids are the future of the Seleção. They are the kids who the world's top clubs are going to be battling over in the years to come. And this is where they live, and they train and they work together. And this, they hope, is the beginning of a life of fame and fortune. Felipe de Luca is one of the under-15 team. Felipe, can you tell us what your dream is for your life after Desportivo Brasil?
My dream is be a professional football player in Europe, play with famous players like Rooney, Lampard.
The coaches here believe that all your group will be professional footballers.
He tells us to be a professional football player. It's so difficult, but if you want, you really want, you can.
The facilities are the best you will find anywhere, on a par with anything. To all intents and purposes, Desportivo Brasilia is a football club. All they're lacking is a stadium and a first team. They take them at 11, at the age of 18, instead of putting them in their first team, they make a contract with somebody else.
From 14 to 15, it's a very risky age. Our strategy is to hide a little bit the boy, because at this age, a lot of crazy guys come with a lot of money to try to steal this boy from the clubs, and I think it's not good for the boy as well.
So you invest money in this infrastructure, in looking after the boys, and there is a financial return when they sign for a European club.
There is no sense for us to build something like that, to invest this huge amount of money that we invest, and not be protected. We have a contract with the boys, and if the boy is good enough to play overseas, we just transfer the boy. We try to keep some future profit of the boys if the player gets sold somewhere else, and we still have some profit left over.
You have a partnership with Manchester United. How does that work?
We share the development of some young kids together, so with coaches from Manchester that comes here, and they go to Manchester twice a year to spend some time there. And if the player is good enough, Manchester has the first option to buy the player.
Of every player here?
No, of not more than 3-4 players that we develop together.
One player, Bruno Gomes, is staying but will go to Manchester United.
He's 16. Now he's going to the national team of under 17. It's going to be a very good player. let's see what happens.
What a story that is. I mean, they are a football factory, aren't they, Keith? They're just producing the next generation of talent.
Yeah, it seems an incredible, project that they've put together there, and it's fantastic for young players to have those facilities at their disposal. They're keeping them away from the crazy men, as was explained in the VT there. But it seems a great project.
It's amazing that football is so heavily dominated by money these days, and yet here's a place that is obviously making a lot of money, but also producing a lot of talented young men as well.
Exactly, and a lot of young players would give their right arm to have those facilities growing up, and for Brazilian players, you look at the players they produced in the past, and if they can produce more players like they have done, it's a worthwhile project.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there'll be, if they're not already, there'll be a lot more clubs interested after watching this. Thank you very much for coming.